Hey y'all, it's Chris and welcome back to the Made South podcast. Now today is a very special episode. One of my dearest friends in the world, why did I say dearest that way? That was weird. One of my dearest friends in the world is a guy by the name of Joe Leavitt. Now, you may have heard Joe on a podcast that we did maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. If you scroll back in this podcast, you'll be able to find it. Joe and I at one point talked about doing a podcast together that we were going to call Q, and it was going to be focused on barbecue, and we were going to sit down with pit masters and eat barbecue and talk about barbecue and smoking meats and fun stuff like that. And we just got too busy, and it just never came to be. But Joe ended up starting a project of his own that I think is absolutely brilliant, and it is called May the Smoke Be With You, and it's kind of a fun mashup of Star Wars meets barbecue. And so not only is he great at kind of grilling meats, smoking meats, things like that, but he also has his own podcast called the May the Smoke Be With You podcast. And he talks to grill masters and pit masters and people like that who are in that barbecue space. And so it's really fun. If you are interested in that kind of thing, I would highly encourage you to go check that out, the May the Smoke Be With You podcast. Now, in his full-time life, Joe is the head of event production for Dave Ramsey. So that's where he and I originally met, when we were both working for Dave. And gosh, we've known each other maybe 20 years, maybe more than that. Don't get mad at me, Joe, if I don't know exactly. But we've known each other a long, long time, and he is one of my dearest friends. Well, last week, Willie Robertson of Duck Dynasty and Duck Commander and all that good fun duck hunting and hunting in general, all that world, Willie Robertson was in Nashville speaking at one of Dave's events. And so we had reached out to him in advance and just said, hey, you're going to be here in Nashville. Would you be willing to sit down with us and have a conversation together, Joe and I, have a conversation with Willie, and then we'll put it out to both of our podcasts. We'll put it out to the Made South podcast. We'll put it out to the May the Smoke Be With You podcast. Willie was kind enough, gracious enough to say yes to that, and so last week we did just that. We sat down with him, and he was kind enough to give us about an hour of his time, a little bit more than that. And the three of us just had a great conversation. And so this episode, you're going to hear myself, Joe, and Willie talking about a bunch of things. We're going to talk about how Duck Commander and the Duck Dynasty television shows came to be. We're going to talk about the time that Willie played Augusta National. I mean, one of, if not the most famous golf course in the entire world, with his fly down the whole time. And we laugh really, really hard about that. We're going to talk about his new projects, including the Blind movie and his story, the musical. We talk about a ton of things. It was super fun, and we're just really grateful that Willie gave us this time. So I hope you enjoy it. Here it is, our conversation with Willie Robertson. All right, I'm going to hit record here and make sure we're doing that. And then, Mr. Robertson, if you don't mind, tell me, just so I can set levels, what did you have for breakfast this morning?
I had nothing for breakfast except for coffee.
Smart man.
I
like it. Is that intentional?
Normal?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big breakfast guy.
But I mean, is that like are you fasting through the day and waiting to? Is that an intentional thing, or you just don't ever eat?
I am right now.
Okay, I like it. I like it.
No, it's not. Nothing. Just
We had a good dinner last night.
we had a big dinner, so yeah.
You should have seen it, Chris. We had.
I missed my invite to that, Joe.
It wasn't because you didn't have one. So we had three. So two tables, but each table got 3 tomahawks. Each table got probably. It looked like probably a dozen at least scallops on each of those plates, and then butterfish, mashed potatoes, asparagus.
But the appetizers were
then there
substantial.
was a seafood tower. What else?
Did you see me grab that bone from that tomahawk and start gnawing on it, and everybody started laughing at me? Because I knew everybody wanted to do that.
Everybody wants to, but nobody ever does.
Give me that thing. Yeah.
You did it. You really did it.
I will say, I wanted to let you know, all my kids, by the way. So we started watching Duck Dynasty as a family when it came out. Mm-hmm. And then now my kids have rediscovered it because they found all the seasons on something like Freevee, or I don't remember what the app is that it's on right now, but they're going through all of them again.
And so when they heard that I was going to come sit down with you, they all asked to come, but Joe said no. Joe said Willie hates kids.
Joe.
He said Willie hates kids. That's what you said. You said that.
I did say that. I didn't say that, but I also said, "Hey, he's doing
Willie
us a favor."
hates kids.
Yeah, he said that. He said Willie hates kids.
Probably have more kids than both of y'all combined.
I don't know.
No, you don't. No, we each have 4. So we each have a lot. I mean, it's not
how
6,
many?
but it's a lot.
Kids and grandkids, I got.
That's true.
I mean, now I've got.
Now you got it.
So yeah,
You guys have 6?
6 grandkids.
Oh, you guys start young down there.
We do. Yeah.
Get married really, really young.
I thought that's what Made South was all about.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
He ain't lying.
No. And then also, it's funny. I'm interested to hear a little bit about this. My family goes to a family camp every year, and that might sound weird, but we go to family camp. It's like 24 families that get together in South Carolina every year for a week, and they have theme nights every night, and you dress up like things. And so this year, one of the theme nights is famous families, and my kids have decided we're going as the Robertson family.
Hey,
and so I'm curious, though, what are some of those must-haves for our costumes? If we're going to be dressed up like the Roberts, there's 6 of us in our family, my wife and I and 4 kids. Who are those characters that we have to be out of those 6, and what do we need to be? I mean, bandanas, flame boots. What do I have to have?
Yeah. Well, first you need to start fertilizing that beard.
It's not going to hurt. It's not going to happen.
Here's the thing.
This is as good as it gets. This is 6
Listen,
months.
Listen, I can already tell I'm gonna like this guy because every one of my dear friends insults my beard
Because it's pathetic.
and it's all I got, Joe.
You
This
know
is
what
all
I
can
know
do.
what I'd call your beard? It's cute. It's
Kids,
cute.
It's adorable, isn't it?
Kids, tune this out. We don't like Willie anymore. Okay.
No, we hate Willie. Yeah, I would say. Well, you can. I think y'all can figure it out as a family. Bandana. Now it's bandana. I think Jace wore the beanie.
We've
Phil
got a
wore
beanie.
I don't know what that thing was he wears. Si has the cap, teacup.
We got the teacup.
Yeah, interesting fun fact. So when the first few episodes of Duck Dynasty, we had different headdress. The big note that came back from New York from A&E was, we can't tell y'all apart. So
That's so
and we couldn't
To
tell
the untrained eye,
we
all
couldn't
rednecks
tell
look
who
alike.
like Willie's the boss, but he's not the oldest, and he's the son, and Phil, and so they said, we think y'all should just kind of stick with the same thing and wear the same, at least on your head, you know. And so I remember, because I wore a bandana only because my hair was so long it would get in my face. I always wore a bandana, so they laid them out and said just pick one, and I picked the American flag, and that's the one. So yeah, so you stuck with you kind of stuck with that. But that's how.
Would it make you feel weird if I pulled my bandana out right now and put it on?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
right. Well, I'm not gonna do that though.
it's I mean, I'm dealing with that beard, so it's about as weird as it gets.
Oh man,
So grow that thing out. Just let it keep going.
Listen, if I didn't shave for a year, it would be about a half inch longer than it
Really?
is.
And
it would be
cannot grow
wiry.
I
It would
can't
look
grow
like
Is that a medical issue? What do you think that is? Like,
hormonal.
Golly.
I think it's
Jeez
hormonal.
Louise. Why did I? How much longer do we have?
Hey Willie, I'd love for you to share, talking about Duck Dynasty, kind of the origin story, because the idea started with your wife, really.
it did, yeah.
Yeah.
So Corey had the idea. Corey watched reality TV. None of the rest of us did. I still don't watch reality TV, and she loved it, and she still does. And so she said, I think y'all should do a show. And I said, a show about what? And she was like, just like y'all and how you run this business. And I said, Corey, we're a normal family. Like, I don't think anyone would watch us. She said, Willie, y'all ain't normal. And I said, you don't think so? And she was like, no. She goes, like, so she was looking at it more from like, I married into this family and you guys aren't normal. She goes, is Si normal? I said, okay, that's true there. Si's definitely abnormal. She goes, your dad? And I said, okay, I guess you're making a point. So then I had to be the one to go ask Phil. And I said, Phil, what do you think about doing a TV show? And he's like, terrible idea. Gave me the thumbs down, you know. Nobody's going to watch it. And I said, well, you know, maybe. And then we had Benelli shotguns. I was at SHOT Show, and they So we were sponsored by Benelli Shotguns.
Yeah.
And they came to us and said, hey, we're thinking about doing a TV show, kind of like a reality show, and we were thinking about using you guys, and we'll sponsor it. It'd be like Benelli Presents.
Yeah.
And I said, man, Corey just told me she thought we should do a show. Corey had actually written to networks, written letters, which lets you know where we're at in time.
That's a smart woman.
Yeah, it was like writing letters saying, you know, I'm married in this family, and nobody responded back. I can't remember the network she sent it to. So we had this little opportunity with Benelli, and so I said, Phil, Benelli's going to pay us. He's like, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. And I said, well, it could. And what was funny was, so they were going to pay for all the production, and I was like, man, we'll sell a lot more duck calls. You know, it's going to be on the Outdoor Channel, which is our customer.
Yeah.
And that was the deal. And then Corey's like, well, I think they should pay y'all money. And I'm like, Corey,
hold
don't
tight.
get greedy.
Don't ruin
get
this.
greedy here. You're going to screw this whole deal up, you know. And she said, well, at least we could ask. And I said, do you think we should even ask? Because maybe that's too forward. And she goes, I think they should pay y'all a talent fee. I didn't know what a talent fee was.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, you can ask. But if you see anything weird, abort, get out of there, you know, like don't screw it up. So we go up in, I think we're in Maryland. We're having the meeting. We're going through all the details. And he goes, okay, we can start shooting soon. And I understand we've never shot anything. We've never been in production. I mean, we've made videos, but not. And Corey said, oh, one more thing. And I'm like, oh, crap. You know? And so I'm like, she goes, one more thing. I think you should pay the guys a talent fee. And he kind of goes, what were you thinking? She said, I'm thinking $30,000. And I went, oh, my gosh. I made $28,000 like my salary. And she just said 30. I'm like, oh, God. And the guy goes, yeah, sure. And I went, shoot, we should have said 50. We should have said 50. we had him there. And so I went down to Dad. And then, so when I got home, like a good CEO, I made that my idea. So I was like, Dad.
Of course.
We're going to get paid $30,000. And we're all jumping. We literally were like jumping up and down. We thought we'd like won the lottery. We were like, it's over. We made it. We finally did it.
They're going to pay us to hunt ducks.
They're going to pay us to hunt ducks.
Wow.
So we launched into that show. And it was really fun. Learned a lot. Kind of cut our teeth on how to make TV. And so what was fortunate was they had two guys that came out of reality TV. So they kind of knew the space. So we did like hardcore hunting and, you know, shotgun talk. But then, like, the other side of the story would be like, what's happening at home? We did some goofy stuff. They're really just weird, funny stuff.
Yeah, that first one was you guys hanging out in the duck blind shooting ducks.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
but then, like, I wore a white suit because everybody called me Boss Hog. So it was like I wore this white suit. I remember we were shooting this. We were on the highway in front of my house, and I'm holding a duck. And I've got a white suit, white hat, and I'm just walking down the center lane of the highway. And that was the shot. This is starring Willie Robertson. It's like Boss Hog with a duck. So we did some kind of goofy, fun stuff that we had no idea. But that show was really successful. It was in the space it was in.
Sure.
We won a lot of awards, you know, from the Outdoor Channel, and it was just a fun time. We were having a blast, you know. Duck call sales went up, business was up. Dad was like, well, maybe it did work. And then that's when I got an email to the general information box at Duck Commander, to whom it may concern. I'm a producer in L.A. I've watched that show. I think you have a really big show. Here's my number. Call me. So my secretary brings it in. They're like, do you want me to chunk this, or do you want to respond, or do you want me to respond? I said, well, I'll respond. So I'm like, hey, this is Willie. What are you thinking? He said, well, let's get on the phone. And so this cat, Los Angeles, fast talker. Now, he said he was an outdoorsman, which in L.A., that means you have a truck. And so he's like, I think, you know, he's like, Willie, this could be huge, you know. And so we had a lot of footage from our show, so we were able to make a sizzle reel. So we made like a 3-minute version of it, and then he started showing it around, and a lot of people were interested, especially at the time because it was in Louisiana. So at that point, Louisiana probably had the best tax credits so there was a lot of TV shows. If you had a heartbeat in Louisiana, like if you had anything, so you had Sons of Guns, you had Billy the Exterminator, Bayou Billionaires, all those shows were down.
Were Gator Boys in there, or were they Florida maybe?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I told you I didn't watch it. So I didn't watch any of the shows, but I knew, you know. So so yeah, he started showing it. And then A&E came out of nowhere. I didn't really know much about the network, and but it was kind of a men and women watch it, and so they picked up 2 pilot episodes, and so we filmed those first 2. We really didn't have a clue what we were. I mean, we didn't know what exactly we were doing or what.
That's
the
the
show
best
was
way
about.
to do it, though.
Yeah, and so we did it, and they called us and they said, "Well, we've got good news and bad news. The good news, the bad news is this is not the show that we thought we were getting. The good news is it's way better than the show we thought." So they thought we were like bearded, like, you know, grunting swamp dwellers.
Neanderthals.
I'm gonna go, that because of swamp people. So they had, they'd screwed our image up because they thought everybody from Louisiana was like that. So they're good guys, by the way. I like them. So yeah, they said this is some kind of family show, and they never just dreamed. They never thought it was, and no one thought it was going to be funny. So maybe they thought they would laugh at us, but not maybe perhaps with us. And so they saw something. They saw something there, and then they picked up, I think 13 episodes sight unseen, which was very unusual. Normally they'd put some shows out, see what the audience reaction was, but this guy, he knew. He said, "Man, he told me, he said, this thing's gonna start like this, and it's just gonna." He said, "By the end of the day, it'll be a runaway freight train."
Man,
They could.
it was.
They could tell you that. That guy could sit there and say, "Get ready, buckle up."
He knew.
But you guys, did you know what you were in for?
No, I mean,
Because you guys went from, everybody in town knew you.
Well,
And you were known in the hunting world.
We had just enough. We had just enough experience. We had just enough to not be just like.
You didn't go from zero.
Right. It wasn't like that. We did that show for 3 years on the Outdoor Channel. So we had been in tons of production. We had, when we showed up to like Bass Pro, there would be people, we would sign autographs. It was like, you got a little taste of it. It wasn't, obviously it was
but
apples
in
and
West
oranges.
Monroe, you weren't hometown sensations at the time?
I still don't think I am. I mean, it's like, hey, there's Willie. We get it. So, no prophet has an honor in his hometown. So it's like,
He's already quoting scripture.
And then, so when the show came out, it came out in late March 2012. So the first thing I did, the first trip I'd taken, I went to Augusta to the Masters.
I've heard of it.
I can't remember how I got tickets.
Yet another person we've met that's been.
Yeah.
And we haven't.
And we haven't. So
thanks,
I
Willie.
appreciate that.
I mean, you can.
I'm going next
There's
year.
ways to go.
Oh, I understand.
Right,
I'm going next year for sure. But, oh, man.
So I went there, and which is the perfect place if you're a celebrity. There's no cell phones. Nobody can yell.
That'll
and
be good for
scream.
me.
You can just get hammered. Nobody's going to say anything.
So I had all these people whisper to him, like, "We love your show." I was like, "Oh man, people are watching," because I didn't know if anybody was like watching.
Because you said it launched in March. The show did.
That was
and
first
the Masters
weekend in April.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I knew, which was so funny too. This guy came up and he said, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm talking to you." And I said, "Hey, nice to see you." And he goes, "I saw you in concert in '78." I said, "'78? I was 6 years." He's like, "I can't believe I'm sitting here with Greg Allman." That's a true story. So I came home from that. And
That humbled you a little
I
bit.
told my brothers, I said, "Oh man," I said, "I think this thing may be, And I remember I took like 2 pictures at the local grocery store, and I pulled out. I pulled up to the office, and Jason and I were standing outside the office, which is so unusual now. I think that they're just hanging out in front of the office.
Yeah.
And I got out of the car. I got in my truck. I said, "Boys, I don't think our lives are ever going to be the same." I remember saying that.
Wow. And
then it took off, and it was crazy. Yeah, I still get misrecognized. I was in D.C. like a month ago, and this guy said, "Oh, man, I can't believe it." I said, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, "Yeah, I am still a big deal." And he goes, "Zach Brown?"
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Little bit of chicken fry.
That's a great
Which
song.
We fooled, I think it was 7,000 people. So we were in Kansas. Luke Bryan Luke was doing a little concert. Jason Aldean was there as well. We were on a hunting trip, but we were also, I don't know, we were raising money for something. So Jason was going to be the surprise guest that they didn't know was coming. Well, we got this funny idea. So Luke was playing. I said, what if I go up there and I got me a knit cap and I tucked all my hair, just had the beard, I put the plaid shirt on. So Luke gets up on the stage. He goes, ladies and gentlemen, we got a special guest. You're going to love him. And I just walked up on the stage. And everybody
So he never
bought
said
it
Zach Brown.
hook,
Wow.
line, and sinker. And they start playing chicken fried.
Chicken fried.
So I get up there and everybody's going crazy. And I lean down and I go, and a little bit of chicken fried. And they went crazy. And I'm like, cold beer. And Luke's looking like, this is the funniest. This is going to be the funniest thing ever. I got through that line. Luke goes, keep going. I said, that's all I know. I didn't know the song. So then I took the knit cap. I took it off. All my hair fell out. Well, then everybody started booing me.
Oh, man.
This is before Duck Dynasty. I should have said that.
Oh.
This is before Duck Dynasty.
Okay,
Gotcha.
that's a big part.
This is
Yeah.
when we had
Yeah.
that show
Yeah.
on
An outdoor
outdoor
channel.
channel. And I said, hang on, we do got a special guest. And so I said, Jason Aldean. Well, then they lost their mind again.
Right.
So, yeah. Yeah, I don't think Luke, it had to be a while back if he's doing
7,000.
if he's doing a 7,000 gig
That's-
for nothing in Kansas. So
Yeah.
That the talent guy that reached out to you, or the guy who ended up producing it, who said, well, this is really a show about family. I mean, family has kind of been at the core of everything you guys have done from the very beginning. Family business, family shows. Your family is every one of those episodes ended with you guys sitting around sharing a meal together. And I feel like that's probably intentional. Were family meals genuinely that important to you guys growing up?
yeah, oh for sure. Yeah, I mean that dinner table was the spot, man. We had dinner, we had supper together, lunch together. I mean, we just all sat as a family and did. It was just like that. So we decided to end. We were kicking around how to end the show. We thought, what about sitting around the table, have a prayer? Which was. We didn't think it was a big deal. That's what we did. And so, but that was a big impact on a lot of people seeing that. A lot of people didn't do that. A lot of people had gotten away from that. And now you get so busy and you drive through and you grab something and we just don't spend time together as a family. And so that was important to us, and growing up was really special. And, that's where I heard stories and learned to tell stories. And so we kind of, we were poor and we had 3 channels on TV, and I didn't count PBS because none of us ever watched that. But we had 3 channels, so there wasn't a lot of distractions. So those times were just cool. And we would, Mom and Dad, my grandparents were there. They would sit there and they would tell stories about their past. We would talk about a hunt. So if it's hunting season, we'd be telling the stories there, and then we would tell stories about the cooking and how we cooked it, and then how it tasted, and was it good or was it better last time. And so all these were just stories. And I remember as a kid, and we didn't really speak up that much, but I learned, if I'm gonna tell a story, I gotta bring it, it was like
a lot of competition.
It was like, I got a story, and here's young Willie, what you got on your mind, and I don't want to flame out, because Dad was such a great storyteller.
Yeah.
He was just captivating with his stories. And so so I learned how to kind of tell stories. And if it didn't work, believe me, your brothers would let you know, hey, it's too long, and so we learned a lot. And right around that dinner table. So very important.
Were a lot of those meals wild? Were they wild game? Was there always wild game involved?
A lot. A lot of them were we pretty much caught or captured what we ate. And so we kind of ate with the seasons. We still kind of do.
Sure.
So it's like deer season, duck season in the winter. Spring would be a lot of fish, turkey. You go into doves. Frogs in the summer. So we just
What about squirrel?
Squirrel a lot, yeah.
Well, so here's what I'm asking specifically about that. My 12-year-old right now is obsessed with trying to harvest his first squirrel. So he's got a little 22 air rifle. He's out there, walking the driveway, getting in the woods, trying to kill a squirrel. He can't save his life, but he's convinced that my wife is going to cook that squirrel for him whenever he takes it.
Right.
But I have no idea where to even begin. How would you prepare? How would you say you got to prepare a squirrel?
I have some funny stories about squirrels. So I think my favorite, I'll try to answer that question. Somebody, we were on the Wendy Williams show, I believe, and she asked Kay, how do you cook squirrel? And my mom says, is it a young squirrel or an old squirrel? yours too.
I would have never thought.
Well, is it tough? Is it tougher if it's older?
It's of course, it's tougher. But when she said that, and Kay actually took squirrels to New York to cook, so they went through the TSA through the radars of squirrels.
I can see Miss K
Yes,
with a bag full of
She's
squirrels.
got a Ziploc bag full of squirrels with the heads on, the whole. Because Mom's favorite part was the brains. That's what she loves, squirrel brains. So she was into it.
Okay.
I just can't even. How do you prepare squirrel brains?
Well, she fries them.
Okay, so like sweetbreads almost.
Yeah. You dig in there and dig out the little
It's
brain.
got to be. Yeah, it's a little brain.
Yeah, it's
it's a small little head. It's more like an amuse-bouche. It's just
nobody's
like
ever
one
accused
you just
squirrels of being
brown it
smart.
and
Yeah.
cook it in gravy. I mean, you
Yeah.
can smother it. That'd probably be better for a old squirrel. You cook it down a little bit.
Break
and
down,
then
yeah.
fried squirrel would be
my.
just deep fried and fried up. Not a lot of meat, but it's good. It's tasty.
Joe likes to smoke meats.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider smoking a squirrel?
I wouldn't think so.
No, I mean it's
But jerky-
it
you
would
maybe
be
can make
really
them
tough. Yeah,
squirrel
you
jerky,
gotta
maybe.
squirrel something you need a little something to add.
man.
a little oomph to it. So
I don't like
And the
tough
rule
meat.
was you couldn't. Mom wouldn't let us shoot any of the yard squirrels, so you couldn't.
Because they had names, or she liked
Well,
them?
yeah, 'cause she's
A little unfair
Yeah,
to
she
the
liked
squirrel.
watching them out there,
Yeah,
running around. So you couldn't. That was the rule. You did not shoot a yard squirrel. So you had to go in the woods for the
Somebody
wild
else's
squirrel,
house.
not the ones in which. I mean, we live in the middle of the woods anyway, so it's
Yeah.
like.
Man, I love it.
So then the squirrels word got out, and I bet those squirrels were like, "If you're in the yard, Miss Gay won't let you get shot."
I remember we were filming an episode of Duck Dynasty. We were doing something with bows. I can't remember the episode, but and so I look over and there's a squirrel on a tree, and I look at Jace and I said, "You think I can hit that squirrel with this bow in there?" He goes, "Not a chance. $100." So I smoked the squirrel. Okay. And so we turned around and they had just there was like 3 people from New York who had just showed up to watch the
my word.
like big wigs from New York, and I shot that squirrel and I thought they were gonna throw up. And Jace goes, "We're gonna eat it. We're gonna eat it." That's what we did. Like we thought they were gonna like cancel our show.
Oh, my goodness.
We're gonna eat it. We skin it.
Where'd you
And
hit it?
We did eat it. Right in the shoulder, actually. It was a good.
mean,
yeah.
Good kill.
That's got to obliterate a squirrel.
Yeah.
Broadhead. I mean, that's.
Yeah. I got it.
Wow.
It was good.
Joe, I'd like to now take this opportunity to do a little bit of a lightning round. And I would like to ask, I'm just going to, these are quick questions.
Okay.
And I think both of you can answer them. I'd love to hear both of your answers on this,
all
all
right.
right? When I say Southerner, who's the first person that comes to mind? Willie can go first on these.
Oh, you know what? I don't know why I thought Willie Nelson. I don't know. That's weird.
I think that's a great answer.
Isn't that crazy?
Why?
Yeah, that was. I have no idea.
Okay. I'm actually coming back to Willie here in a minute. Joe.
I think we talked about him yesterday. Bill Clinton.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Bill Clinton.
It just
Whisper? No, that's
See,
different
that
Bill.
would not come to my mind, but it's very true.
But it is true, and I think
Classic
it's
Southerner.
top of mind because we were talking about him yesterday,
Okay.
and so
It's fascinating.
and Willie had a story where he came up to Willie and
Hey, Willie.
yeah, and hey, I love your show.
I love your show.
Just put. No, he said, "I know you," and you
said, "I know you," and I said, "No, you don't."
And then he came in. He put his
And he
hand
goes,
on.
"I love your show." And I said, "You don't watch Duck Dynasty." And I still don't know why I said that. Like, I should have just said, "That's awesome.
You should've
Thank
said,
you,
thank you, Mr. President."
Mr. President." That would have been the correct answer. I said, "You've never watched our show." Like, I don't know why I was so.
He got
presumptuous. Yeah,
You're
I know
lying.
it. I was like picking a fight with Bill Clinton,
He got combative. With
and so
him.
he grabs it and then I realized. This is how this is how you become president. Like he grabs my shoulder.
It's the force.
He like pulls me in. It's just like I was the only person in the
Mesmerized.
room, and it was
Yes.
a room full of like way more celebrity than me. And so he pulls me in. He goes, "You want to know why that show worked?" And I went, "Yeah, I would love to know why Bill Clinton thinks that Duck Dynasty worked." He bit his lip.
Classic Bill move.
It was just, and this is the best political answer ever. Like, this is one you couldn't, if you tried to, and he goes, because it was real. and I was going like,
Why does it tickle me so much?
Because you can see
and then I was
saying
thinking,
it.
I was going to be like, well, and then just before I said it, he looked at me and said, and if it wasn't real, we thought it was real. That's how you become president of the United States. And stuff like that.
That is one of the greatest stories I've ever heard told.
All right,
I love that.
so I know this is speed round.
Yeah.
But
Speed, we're not speeding.
We're
slowing down again.
But I heard last night that apparently Bill Clinton is known for being a man with an immaculate memory, and he would be briefed on the outside of every room, and they would say, "This is Willie Robertson. Willie is Duck Dynasty. It's a reality TV show. It's on A&E. It does this." And so when he would walk in, he'd be like, "Willie, I love your show." And so, and he would go around the room and be able to work a room, and they said
I
it was
wonder if that's
magic.
the case. Like, if he walked
He probably
off,
watched your show.
if he
though.
walked off and looked around and like, who was that guy?
Why was
Who's
he so
homeless?
combative?
Who was the homeless guy?
Man, I
Oh, that would have been hilarious. If I would have been really on my game, I would have turned it and said, I love Duck Dynasty, and been like, I'm Zach Brown. Like, what are you talking about? I'm not.
I'm
Willie.
chicken fried.
Yeah, and a little bit of chicken fried.
All right, back to the speed round.
You know
Chris.
why
All right,
that's-
we're supposed to be doing a
You know
speed
why
round.
that song worked, Zach?
Because it's real.
All right, next one. Do you have an opinion on mayonnaise? Are you a little bit of a mayonnaise snob?
Do I have
Do you care which mayonnaise are you like a Duke's, a Hellman's, a
Dukes for sure?
Yeah,
Amen?
Dukes
all right,
for sure.
Joe. Dukes
Yeah,
for sure.
1000%.
We all agree on that.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Yeah.
It's the only one you should.
I buy,
be using.
in certain places, I buy
the big one.
I want
Yeah,
the big
the
one.
gallon
one.
size.
And I go through it. Y'all have never seen anybody go through mayonnaise like
No,
me.
no, I have.
I mean,
I have. I absolutely have seen people go through.
It's like looking in a mirror.
We decimate
Yeah.
mayonnaise in our family.
right.
Everything has.
I
mayonnaise
smear it
on
on my body. Like I have that kind of relationship.
My wife eats peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwiches. Peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwiches. My
No,
wife
that-
eats those.
that's kinda
That's
disgusting.
disgusting. That's worse than squirrel. Do you have a Southern curse word of choice? And here's what I mean by that. Like, we're all believers here. We don't curse a lot. Maybe on the side a little bit. But like a dadgummit, a son of a gun. What is your Southern curse word of choice?
Yeah, I'd say dadgum.
Dadgum.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Dadgum.
Joe, what's your go-to?
I because I'm from Michigan.
Golly.
I didn't.
Why are you here?
Why are you? What? Who do you know?
You've been here a long time.
I've been here a long time. I think my fill-in curse word is good night nurse. Good night nurse. That's what I say.
Nurse.
Good night,
Okay.
nurse.
I know it's. I don't know
But
why.
you're saying it like with a real Michigan accent. So.
Good
Good night. I don't
night,
get the
nurse.
nurse
Yeah.
part, but like.
And you're also a Jizo Pete guy.
Yeah, Jizo Pete. I do a
Jizo
little.
Pete.
Yeah, sorry. All right.
Mine is son of a gun. That's my go-to.
Yeah, you do.
Son of a gun. Like
yeah, when you miss
this.
the putt.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't miss many putts though.
Well, depends on the day.
Oh, yeah, well, I tell you this. This was so I was in the meet and greet line yesterday, and this old boy comes up, and the meet and greet was like,
No, it
people
wasn't.
were dressed like. I mean, it was like people were dressed for success, right? This old boy comes up, big old boy, coveralls, and it was so out of place just in the.
Yes.
And I looked at him and I said, "Oh, blessed mother of Bubba."
Did that just come from it?
It just came out. I was like,
Blessed
I
mother
don't know
of
why I
Bubba.
said that, and his buddies started laughing. So
Yes.
it was so like everybody's like slicked up, and
Yeah,
like
I love it.
skinny jeans and like business people,
Yeah.
and then he walks up like
You gotta
straight
have
off
a-
the farm.
Yeah, you got to have a special level of self-confidence to do that. To just own who you are and show up wearing coveralls.
Yeah.
Or overalls.
Yeah.
Overalls or coveralls? Which was he wearing?
What's
Cover.
Well, coveralls
Oh,
are like the coveralls have like sleeves.
Oh,
to 'em.
no,
No,
Is it coveralls?
He got the
Overalls.
little
Gotcha.
thing.
Overalls.
Yeah, no, it's overalls.
This one is. I don't think Joe's gonna be able to answer this one, but like if people come to West Monroe for the first time and you're gonna tour them around town for a day, what's the ideal day in West Monroe look like?
What, do I know him?
No, like
It's like a stranger?
You have
Like-
you have a friend who's coming into town. They've never been there before.
Oh,
You're
well,
gonna
I mean,
take
I
them
would
out.
take them to the Duck Commander Warehouse.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to see that. We have a museum in there where you can
that's
go
fun.
through. We
Yeah.
got stuff from the show. We've got, so it's cool. So we'd go there. Then I'd probably take them to my house, or maybe I'd show them the hunting property. We go.
Yeah, that's
so
fun.
Dad lives like 30 minutes south in the middle of nowhere, and so yeah, I may take him down there. It's on the river, so it's
Yeah.
on the Washita River, and yeah, I'd probably take him to my house and probably start cooking something for him.
Spend a day with the family. I
All right,
like
yeah,
it.
we'll set up the date.
Yeah, let's just get that on the
We'll talk.
I mean, there's not a whole lot.
Yeah.
to do,
Well, I didn't know
yeah.
if there were like restaurants you like to take them to. Or,
I rarely ever eat out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I cook pretty much. I cook all the meals in my house. So
I love it.
I am the cook. My wife, she has a lot of skills, a lot of skill sets. Cooking is not one
Getting
of
you
them.
TV shows.
And my mom said, "Well, I told you, you married a skinny girl. That's what you're gonna get." You know. So I do all the cooking, and and one of the reasons now it's so cool is that's what brings my kids home. So all my kids, all but one's living in McKinney, Texas. But when they're home, we eat that same family meal together, and so I cook it
great.
all. And so they text me what they want, and I'll attempt anything. But yeah, I cook every meal when I'm home. So when I'm out of town, like right now, Corey doesn't. I don't know if she necessarily misses me, but she misses the food. So
That's fair.
That's sweet.
Do you have any hidden talents?
No, I mean, maybe not hidden, because I've pretty much exploited most of them because I've had to. So, hidden.
I mean, like Joe's a really good whistler. He's a great whistler.
Are you?
Yeah.
No,
He's a fantastic
it's not
whistler.
bad.
I'm probably better at golf than you would think. So,
Really? What's your handicap?
I mean,
Single digit? What were we
Yeah,
talking?
yeah, I would say so.
Scratch?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
not scratch, but single. I used to be really good.
Okay.
I had a mental meltdown, so I quit. I was talking to Larry the cable guy yesterday, and I told him I quit.
weird-
I said I quit. I'm going to play his golf tournament for his charity event, and so. And I said, I quit playing golf for 2 years. During COVID, I didn't play golf. And I have like...
That's when
I
everybody
built-
played.
Everybody started playing golf, yeah.
Exactly. Now I have golf greens in my yard. Like, and I'd walk out in my yard, and it's just I'm like, I'm such a loser. I invested this money. I've got this whole cool thing, and I would not... And it happened with him, and he didn't remember, is I missed a small putt, and I was in a big celebrity tournament. People were watching, and it got in my head.
Oh, man.
And I got the yips so bad. And I told him this year, I said, you remember, we were on that golf green in Orlando, Florida, big event. I have a putt that's 8 inches long. I'm over the putt. I cannot move the putter back.
Oh,
I
dear,
am
that's bad.
frozen.
Yeah, that's bad.
So I mark it. I back up again, and cable guy goes, "What's your problem?" I said, "I can't move the putter back."
Wow.
And he goes, "It's still your putt." I said, "I realize that, but I can't move the putter back. Like, we have a
man.
major problem." So I went back, I put it, and I was like, I was trying to move it, and I just touched the ball. It went 2 inches, and I picked it up, and I said, "I'm never doing this again." At the time, I was a 3 handicap.
Oh, the three's pretty good.
That's real good.
Three's real good.
So I just now have re-immersed myself. Last year, I got invited to do a charity, Chris Tomlin's charity tournament in Nashville.
Yeah.
Oh, at the Troubadour. So I really wanted to do this, but I was like mortified. And so nobody realized, like, I tee the ball out, and
Nervous.
yeah, I'm so nervous. And I'd done this in front of, it's just weird. And I played, and it got me back into it. So I'm back
than
in.
golf.
So
I get
I'm
it.
getting
And
better.
Remind me after this, I have a great Troubadour story.
It is a good
And
story.
I'll tell you.
Hey, have you ever been to Augusta National?
Oh, wow.
Oh, you
Wow.
haven't?
Oh,
Okay.
okay. All
Well,
right.
now,
All right. I see. Yep. This is great.
well, when I played there,
No, you haven't played. You've played there?
I've played it. Oh, yeah.
dear
Of course I
heavens.
have. What are you talking about?
I know a couple guys who have played
Yes.
there who. Now, did they take your phone when you played and give you disposables? Did they do that? That's what I heard they do.
Maybe. I can't. Yeah.
And then they develop them for you and send you. That's what I've heard, that they take your phones even when you're playing there.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe.
Wow.
I can't remember.
Wow.
If, like,
Can you say who you
somebody
played with?
taking it. Can I say who I played with?
Yeah, I didn't know
Like
if
the member or
yeah,
like, what are you talking
yeah.
about?
Like it was secret. Like, oh, they wouldn't
Yeah,
want me
like
to
they
say.
wouldn't want me to say that.
Like it
they
was
took
Bill
me.
Clinton, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Bill Clinton. No.
Condoleezza
No,
Rice.
I played with, who invited me was Ozzie Smith.
Oh my
Baseball
goodness!
player, yeah.
Yeah, you kidding me? Wizard of Oz.
What a nutty. So I went to the.
Is he a member there?
No, I don't think so. No, we were with another member.
Okay,
This one's crazy. So I'm hunting in Montana. I am deer hunting in Montana. The Cardinals are playing the Red Sox in the World Series.
Yeah.
Stay with this. So I had spoken that year at the Cardinal Stadium for Faith and Family Day. So I'd met some of the Cardinal players. I also knew some Red Sox players, but so I'd been there that year. Now they're in the World Series. This is cool. So I told everybody, I said, hey, we should go. My friend had a plane. I said, if we all kill tonight, let's go to the World Series.
Sure.
He's like, that's a great idea. Well, we killed. Except for the dude that owned the plane. Oh, he didn't kill. So now I'm like, So the next morning, breakfast, 10 o'clock, he goes, hey, are y'all still wanting to go to the World Series? I said, well, you didn't kill. We'll hang out with you until you get it done. He said, no, I'll send it down. I'll take you down. You know.
My.
I'm like, so we're going to the World. So they're like, so now 11 o'clock. Game's at 7, 11 o'clock. Let's go. We ain't got tickets. We ain't got nothing. So I start texting people like, hey, any chance? So I had like, because I knew some players and they were like, I can get one in, but I had like 2 other buddies, and I'm like, I need 3 passes. So at like 1 o'clock, the chaplain texted and said, hey, I got you 3 spots in a suite. Perfect. So we burn it down there, St. Louis, get dropped off. We're at the World Series, and I was in the suite. I was in the Hall of Fame suite with Ozzie Smith, all the Jim Edmonds, all these Cardinal players, like awesome, right? And he was talking about playing Augusta. He said, we're playing Augusta coming up, which when's October. So it was like that time. Yeah. I said, that's a dream, I said, I'd love to play. He said, well, I'll let you know how it goes. Bye.
Yeah.
And so Bill Engvall was in the.
This story gets so much better.
Bill Engvall was supposed to play at Augusta. Well, he's on Dancing with the Stars
with Bill Clinton,
and he keeps winning. He keeps moving up. So unbeknownst to me, he calls Ozzie and said, "I can't," because I think
part of the group with Ozzie.
Yeah, and he wasn't in the suite, but that's who was playing with him. When he called and said, "Hey, I can't go play Augusta.
Oh my gosh.
I'm in this, Dancing with the Stars. I can't do it." So now they have a spot open. Ozzie said, who said they really wanted to go? That Willie Robertson. So they call me and say, "Can you play Augusta like tomorrow?" I said, absolutely. I always said, I don't care what's going on.
Yep.
Problem was, I was doing 2 store promotions for Bass Pro Shop in Colorado. I'm like, so I did like Denver, then Colorado Springs that night. They dropped my wife off in Monroe, took me to Augusta with 48 minutes to go before I was picked up to go play Augusta. So I am on just... And
adrenaline.
I looked down, so I had these blue polyester pants. Somebody passed away, and I got these pants, somebody from church. And I had the look, like I said, this is going to be epic. I get up, the little, whatever the tab is on the zipper is gone. So I'm just looking at facing teeth of a zipper, but nothing to ignite them. So I'm just gaping like my underwear, it's polyester. So I just put on some shorts.
Oh.
I go down there, so this guy picked me up. He goes, Mr. Robertson, they don't allow short pants at Augusta National. And I went, well, I got some pants, but they don't have a zipper. He goes, hey, we get a safety pin. So I safety pin it, but it's still gate, like you can still see my underwear.
Oh, my gosh.
So I had this giant, 2 extra large sweatshirt that I put on to cover this. It's not the look that I wanted.
You played Augusta National with your fly open. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I had to, but I had it covered, so you couldn't see it. And then I also had my bandana on. So then, now they were so nice.
Did they let you play? They let you play with the bandana?
No, they gave me a hat.
Oh my goodness!
We would love you to wear this hat. Ozzie said that means wear.
Yeah. What was your number at Augusta? What'd you shoot?
Well, I tell you what, I played the par 3 course first. Chipped in for birdie, right out of the gate. realize how out of shape I was walking that thing. It is.
Oh, I would
Y'all
imagine.
haven't been, but like when you're there,
You've reminded us. Yeah.
the hills are. So I get on the second hole. It's that par 5. I'm up there in 2 actually, and I lipped out for eagle. So I birdied number 2.
Oh my goodness!
And I never made a par after that. I never even came close. So I don't know. I probably shot 100 and something.
But
I did have a birdie. I
It was
did
back
birdie
in your
this-
3 handicap days. You're a pretty good player.
So exhausted. I was just. I mean, I'm looking. It was like.
And you're coming off a busy day, traveling.
I didn't sleep.
adrenaline.
I
Yeah,
never
yeah.
slept that
Your
night.
fly's
Like,
open.
my
Yeah.
fly's
Yeah.
open.
There's a lot working against
Baggy
you.
sweatshirt.
Yeah,
It's
and
crazy.
I made a lot of boat. Yeah, who cares, man? I'm
No,
just
you're
walking
there,
around
man.
wild.
Yeah,
I
you're
was just-
there.
It was unbelievable.
I love it.
We're still on the
Are
we
we still
around?
rapping
Are
around?
you just gonna go with whistle?
Yeah, I'll go with whistle next.
Favorite Willie Nelson song?
Oh shoot, I'm gonna. It's the one with him and Toby Keith. Beer for my
horses. Yeah, great song. Great song. It's fantastic.
My pappy's grandpappy. Whatever that little, whatever.
It is
my
a-
pappy's grandpappy told
it
my
is a
pappy.
great song.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's epic.
Yeah,
It's
it
epic.
feels awesome.
Yeah, that was probably not the one you were thinking.
No, he's got more songs than anybody out there.
I tell you,
Anybody-
I listened to his book. It is fantastic. If you've not,
That's what I've heard. And he reads it, right?
no, but a guy who sounds like him does.
Oh, that's a. I want to hear
but-
Willie read it.
But you start to believe that it's Willie. His Stardust album is my favorite.
Yep. Kind of the standards, right?
A little bit of the standards, and but it was like he did that before anybody else did, and it's fantastic.
I love that. Here's the final one in the lightning round, and this is my personal favorite. Do you have any family heirlooms that are just like things that either your family has passed down to you, you're going to pass down to your kids, just cherished items?
I can't think of anything.
Not a single thing that you. I kind of love that though.
Isn't that wild? Like,
Well, I mean, like physical things are just not that important to you, you know.
no, I got a
Like
my grandpa. I've got a hard hat, like a blue hard hat.
Yeah.
Like, that's all.
But that's cool though.
There wasn't a
I
lot of
love
stuff
that.
passed down. Yeah, everything got pilfered through, I guess. And yeah, Dad wasn't really big on like stuff, and
Sure.
you know, like so I've got a lot. Like I've collected tons of things that.
Your
that'll
kids
drive
would
my
just
ki-
love.
Oh, they would just be
Yeah.
like, oh, they'll be finding stuff. Like, be like, what is this? What is?
They're gonna have a
like I
massive yard
bought.
sale.
Well, like so every Christmas I would make them give me one of their toys that they couldn't open. That I told them I'd give it back to them in 30 years because it would be worth more money.
Oh, that's
and
a
they could
great
remember what
idea.
they liked. You know, oh, they hated it because they'd be like, because
Do you
I
still
got
have
all their
some of
stuff.
those?
I've got all of it. Yeah,
like Star Wars
I'm like
figures.
I'm
and-
a very sophisticated hoarder. So like Corey said, you're just a hoarder. You just have
it's just
multiple places to
neatly
put it. Yeah,
arranged.
yeah.
and-
So it's got.
Are you a
I
Star
love it.
Wars fan?
I like Star Wars. I
Okay.
do. Yeah, I was more Star Trek, but I do like Star Wars. But
Because like my
I have
This
gone.
is Star Trek, right?
yeah that's
This guy?
that's
That's
live-
Vulcan.
Okay, so
Vulcan.
something
That's
about
Vulcan.
prosper. What is it? Live.
Live long and prosper. Something like that.
Jeffrey's here, my guy with me, and I call him the Vulcan.
The Vulcan.
Yeah,
All right,
so
you got that.
I'll probably be
That's
more
very
Star
sweet.
Trek. I have been to a Star Trek convention. So.
Oh wow. Well, see, my we're doing this podcast together.
Yeah.
And mine's May the Smoke
Are we?
Be.
We're doing it together.
May the Smoke Be with you. It's barbecue focused. It's kind of Star Wars and barbecue. Have had a love child, and
yeah.
that's me. So I ask people their favorite Star Wars movie. That's kind of my bonus round.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So what's your favorite Star Wars movie?
Oh God, that's a good question. Probably. I mean, I'll probably say number 2. Well, like Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's all you know.
I know. I don't even know what.
Of
But
the
I like-
original
I
trilogy, the
like-
second one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like the one with the little bears. Little Care Bear.
that was-
Ewoks?
The Ewok. Yeah, I
Return of
didn't
the
like
Jedi.
that,
Return of the
yeah.
Jedi.
Yeah.
And I watch it now, because back. I mean, I was young when I watched those, and it's way more kiddie than you think. But I think Empire Strikes Back. That was a great one.
It's a good one.
You got a character that you like? Favorite character?
I like Jabba. I was fascinated
good.
with Jabba the Hutt. so-
Yeah.
My
He was
goodness.
nasty.
Family. I mean, we talked about family's been so important to you guys. I know you're a little bit more spread out now. You got Jep has moved
mean
to
by
Austin.
weight or
well,
like-
I mean, but like so Tennessee, Texas, Louisiana, you're kind of all spread out. Is
but we're kind. Yeah, I mean, they still have their houses.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I was just
Our
curious.
neighborhood,
Do you
so.
have to be more intentional about getting together? Do you still all
The
get
big
together?
family,
sometimes?
actually,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
we really do, to do that. But, and plus, our family, like my family's big now. My
Yeah.
kids and my
Sure.
grandkids, so it's hard, to get us all together. I do miss that. The show brought us, we were together a lot
Gave you
during
a
the
reason,
show,
yeah.
so it was great. It was as long as it was, and like you get so sick of filming, but you were. At the time, you're like, oh, I'm stuck with, but now you really cherish those memories. It'd be like, because it'd be like odd combinations. It'd be like me and Uncle Si and one of my nephews. That we'd be in a scene together, and so I do miss that. So you do kind of, we still do holidays and all that stuff, but everybody's busy.
Oh,
Bill does his podcast like crazy, and Jason and them were filming their show for Fox, and so we got a lot of stuff going on. So
Yeah. I think of your career in kind of stages. That early part, when we were introduced to the Robertson family, it was entertainment, it was brand building. Willie the CEO. There's a lot of business. It's my perception, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. There seems to be a little shift in your life now, more towards like significance, sharing your faith, talking about the gospel. Has that been an intentional shift that you've thought about?
Yeah, that's funny you say that. I did if you look at it's weird how I was in decades. So it was like in my 20s, I was running a summer camp, had my children, didn't make any money, but was really learning how to work and really learning. Corey and I, we got married when we were 19, 18. So it's kind of my 20s were there. Then my 30s, I was like, I think I can go make money, and do something. And so I went back to the family business that I never thought I would be back at. So in my 30s, really poured into business, started Buck Commander, really worked hard and just in the business, kind of got that foundational business side. And Duck Dynasty started when I was 40. And so all from 40 to 50 was pretty much TV production on the big scale, doing that. I had to learn that business and, lots of products and, branding and all that stuff. And so now I'm 51. But when I was 50, I went and did like a life plan kind of thing. And so really helpful. And we kind of went through, what do you want to do, what do you want to do in your 50s? And it was more of that teaching, passing on. That was kind of what I highlighted, wanted to do that. So what we did was you kind of weed out, does this fit where you want to be? And so sometimes you just kind of went, just let it go and do away with that. And so I did want to go into more of that teaching, writing. We've written books, but I've got a new book that's coming out soon, and it's more about sharing your faith. And so you kind of, I think the older you get, you start realizing what's the most important, what you want to spend your time with, and passing things on to your kids and passing stuff like that. So, I would say that's where I'm at. That was a good observation you made.
Man, look at you.
Every now and
you haven't
then.
played Augusta, but you had a good observation.
Blind squirrel
Yeah.
every now and then.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, thinking about that, significance and legacy and stuff like that, these couple of new projects that we've seen pop up, The Blind and his story, I'd love to learn a little bit. We would love to learn a little bit more about these. Like, let's start with The Blind. I watched the teaser trailer, by the way, and it genuinely gave me chills.
It looks
I mean,
great.
it's a minute and a half long, but like, you're the executive producer on that. I've always been curious. Yeah, you didn't. You knew that.
I didn't know that.
Are you serious? Yeah, you're
Does
on
it say my name
It
or
says your
Corey's
name.
name?
It says your name. She's a producer. One of the producers. You're the executive producer. I've
did
always
not
been
know
curious.
That. That's good to know that.
Well, you know what? My follow-up was going to be, what does an executive producer do? But it sounds like you don't know.
No, I know what it is, and I have been working on that a lot. I just wasn't sure if they put my name on.
But what is it about?
Because I would say Corey has,
Yeah.
Corey's poured a lot into that film and what, it was really hard. It's hard to make a movie, and it's hard to do that. So we learned a lot. That was when we just jumped into, we formed a production company, and so we wanted to do, especially positive TV, not necessarily Christian, but just something positive, and because I think you can complain about what's out there, or you can try to do something different. We wanted to be like part of the solution, and so we came up with that idea. It was like, should we do this right off the bat? It was like low hanging fruit, but it was my parents, and really hard for me to watch because it's tough. It's like you're looking back. I'm played by my grandson, John Shepherd.
That's fun.
He's
That's
2,
fun.
and he's me. He's little Willie
Oh, that's
on
fun.
the movie. Isn't
Yeah.
that crazy? So But yeah, Corey did a lot of the meetings. I'm not good with meetings and all that, and so we would watch it and change and try to tweak and get it to where, because it's really hard. Because we didn't want to feel like it was like a bait and switch, like Duck Dynasty is fun and crazy, and then you go watch this movie, it's like dark, and Dad's
serious,
like
right.
an alcoholic and like raging.
But you guys don't want to shy away from how
we don't want
dark
to shy
it was.
away, but but we it needs to be palatable, for like, you gotta feel the redemption, and and which we know how it turns out. So it's just getting to that point, the version of the story, and so it was tough. It was hard to put all that together. And the young Uncle Si's really funny, so you can imagine, because we could kind of play with that. What would little Uncle Si, little Si be like?
In his 30s, 20s,
I mean, we
30s,
obviously asked questions, but it was like, it's just funny. I think knowing him now and have seen him on Duck Dynasty, seeing like the 12-year-old version of him, and it's really a timepiece. It goes from the 50s and 60s and early 70s, and kind of ends when Phil finally gets lined out and has got this duck call that he wants to make, and that's kind of where we leave the audience.
Will there be?
It's awesome.
Will there be like a second chapter to that?
Could be, I mean, we're just been working on this one right now, but it's a special project. I'm so glad that we were able to put that movie in picture. I mean, put that story in pictures, and and be able to share that. And hopefully, our hope is that a lot of people can realize there is hope. And it's so when it looks so dark and it looks like there's there's no tomorrow, that God can come in. You can. He can change us and turn us into different people, which is certainly what he did with Phil.
And it'll be released.
And Kay, I mean, both. And then Mom had to forgive him. So, Phil could have gotten his life right, but if Mom would have said, I can't, I'd have grown up in a completely different situation. And so I'm so thankful that happened.
Story of redemption and grace. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, I love it.
Released in September, is that right?
September 28th, is when it's coming out. And so we'll be in theaters. So we'll be.
Pretty wide release. Like, will we be able to see it pretty much anywhere? Mm-hmm. Man, I love it.
Yeah.
Maybe even at Augusta. Maybe they'll show
maybe
it.
even in,
maybe we could go to maybe we could go to Augusta, watch the movie, and squirrel hunt there.
I mean,
there's got to be
Joe.
There's got to be some.
Sounds like a firm invite.
There's got to be some fatty squirrels at Augusta.
I'm blocking off September.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I'm just blocking off September right now. That'd be great. August in the fall. I love that. And if people want to find out more about that movie, theblindmovie.com, is that right?
Sounds good.
Fantastic. He's the executive producer.
I didn't even know I was the executive
He has people
producer.
that make up websites. He's not making up the website.
I love it. I love it. And I tell
Is that the right website, Jeffrey? Okay.
Theblindmovie.com. Fantastic. I'll tell you,
Vulcan
we
over
always
there,
say
let us
that,
know.
like, it's so weird to me. Like, it's like, I need to know the exact thing. But you can literally just
Google it.
blind. Yeah, you're going to get there. So I always think it's funny when it's like, oh, no, / that.
Yeah,
I'm like, well, I can probably find it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
just Google The Blind Movie.
Yeah.
You're going to land on it, guaranteed. And then I'm more curious, I think, about his story, because his story, obviously, or maybe not obviously, it's inside a Broadway. It's a musical about the life of Christ, right?
There you go.
And so it's going to be, or it is inside the Broadway tent at Grandscape, North Dallas, kind of the Colony area.
Yeah.
I'm just like I would consider myself a slightly polished redneck, but I come from a long line of rednecks.
Yeah.
I think you come from a long line of rednecks. How on earth does a redneck from Louisiana end up producing a musical about the life of Christ? This seems bizarre to me.
Why not?
And I love it. It's bizarre in the best way. But how does that even come to be? When does it enter your mind to go, I think we need to make a musical?
I mean, you guys didn't. You weren't growing up listening to show tunes,
because Joe was.
Joe was. I was. Yeah.
Joe was.
Yes, you were.
I love
He's a show tunes guy.
Oh yeah. Well, you'll love this. Yeah, this was. This one was a little out there, but I never shy away from opportunities.
I mean, it's a curveball, but in the best way.
Well, it was in the works, and so it wasn't like I said, we need a musical.
Okay.
So it was in the works, and I had a friend, actually the guy who directed it, he had gotten hired to direct it, sent me, probably because he knew, hey, I think that guy likes Jesus, and so, and just sent it to me on text. I was writing my book on my books about how to share your faith easier, and so I'm like, I open this up, and I look at it, and I'm like, God, is this
a way to share my faith
Yeah.
easier? Yeah.
And it was almost like I heard, it was like there's a different way to share the gospel. There's one way you can read someone the scriptures and all that, but how about do it in this way? And then I thought, wow, I mean, that's how I learned probably better. Growing up in school, I was more of a schoolhouse rock guy. I could remember that to help me with conjunction, junction, what's your function? So it's like, I was like, that's way better than some teacher just reading out of a book. And so I thought this is another way to do that. So I called out. I said, hey, how can we? Now this one I am a producer. I know that I'm a producer on this one. But I said, how can we get involved? And so we, Corey and I, she watched it, and we were hoping, which I'm kind of like, I watched one piece of it and said, we're in. We're all in. Corey said, hang on.
That's one song.
But that's stop. What I do. Like, I read the first chapter. I don't know how many books I've read, like, the first chapter, and I'm like, it changed my life. And it's like, you didn't even read the rest of it. I'm like, I get it.
Didn't need to.
I get it, though.
Yeah. He's kind of like you, Chris.
So
it sounds like.
You're not wrong.
So we launched into this thing. Now, the crazy story about his story was the girl who wrote it was 17 when she wrote this whole thing. And she had never written musicals. She was a missionary in the Ukraine at the time. They went all over the world. She saw Hamilton, and she felt like God told her, I think you should write this story about Jesus. And so that people can learn more about Jesus. And so, as she tells the story, so her sister taught her 4 chords, and she just went boop and wrote 30 songs.
She had never made music before?
No.
Oh my!
She's dyslexic. She couldn't even write, or I don't know how much she spoke until she was like 9 years old. It was crazy. It was like,
wow.
And that's where it came from. Well, that's what gets my attention. I'm hey, God got something going on here. I'm like raising my hand, like, hey, put me in. Let me help with this thing. So I jumped in there. Corey did. And then we bought this. We got this opportunity to buy this tent. Like, we bought it, like this giant tent that I think Peter Pan ran in it before. So it's really cool in there. Like, the stage is in the round. And the stage spins and moves.
Oh,
and
wow.
Then the ceiling is it's almost like a planetarium. So we shoot lights up so you can have all these different scenes. And it's one of them things, like when you see it, you're like, it'll blow you away. So I just need people to go see it. Sure. It's a destination. I mean, we could have went to New York and had it there, or you can go north of Dallas.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather go north of Dallas.
Me too. Me too.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so, so we launched it, and it's been it's crazy. I mean, getting it all together. It's a lot of work and but it's been amazing. It's just I cry every time I watch it.
Oh, man.
It's so moving, and because it's what I'm into. It's like, this is what I live my life for, and now there's a musical that portrays that's about that. Yeah. And what's cool is, so Phil's movie, The Blind, was supposed to come out this spring, and we moved it to the fall, and I'm so glad we did, because it's kind of like we have his story, which is the most important, and then we have kind of our story, which is next. Man. And so, it's gonna be a fun year, and so.
What's the long-term plan for his story? It's in Dallas right now.
It'll be in Dallas as long as people come watch it, and then from there, which is typical for Broadway. Like, I think Jersey Boys didn't start in San Diego or something. Then and then they moved to Broadway.
Sure. Yeah, it started at the La Jolla Playhouse. La Jolla Playhouse in San Diego is where Jersey Boys started.
So not necessarily.
This guy, show tunes.
He knew.
I'm telling you.
So that's not unusual, but really what we want to do is be able to tour this and go into tons of cities and across the world, is to do that. So It's just a beautiful look at the music's real hip, and it's kind of Hamilton light. It's like there's rap and there's all kind of it's catchy, man. I sing that stuff all the time. It's just once it gets in my head, and so
my daughter's actually going to Dallas in like
a couple
weeks.
My daughter's going with your daughter.
More.
We were told that she was not going with her.
When was that? When was she told that?
2 days ago.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
But now I'm going, like, she's staying in the Grapevine area with my cousin, but I may fly out there and take her to see that one.
Come on.
Because it sounds fascinating, and I'm just so curious about
it. Well, we've got to support it. That's the thing. We've got to.
Absolutely.
Christians sometimes they're like, complain, we can't. But then when we have stuff, we have to go support.
No, I agree. I agree.
When we have positive movies and positive television shows, we forget that, hey, somebody needs to go and get a ticket and watch it and talk about it and all that kind of stuff. So, And that'll show if you really want to, if you want to get people's attention. That's what shows, and you'll have more stuff made like that.
Yep.
Like Jesus Revolution, the movie, did great.
Yeah.
The box office, and so when that happens, Hollywood will say, "Oh, okay, these things."
There's an appetite.
Yeah,
for it.
there's an appetite, and it's. I mean, if not, you're going to keep. You'll get a bunch of garbage. Because we got to go support it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. As you consider future projects, I mean, you think about Duck Dynasty, and you guys prayed at the end of every one of those episodes. You're telling the story of his story, the life of Christ, the story of the Robertson family, which obviously is going to involve faith. Do you ever, I mean, just in today's society and the culture, do you ever get fearful or let some of that fear creep in about being canceled or what other people are going to say or what society is going to think about what you're doing?
No, I mean, I guess there's always a fear, a little bit, like, hey, this is because it changes like so fast.
Constantly.
I'm like, what can we,
Yes. Yes.
I mean, this stuff is because there's, some of this stuff is just absurd, and I don't know where the rules are, what you're supposed to do.
It's a moving target constantly.
But you got to be bold too, and you got to, I don't have a problem with sharing my faith and what it's done for me. It's kind of like, well, here's my story.
Yeah.
So it's hard to argue with what my story is and what I feel and what I see and what I what I read. And if you like that, and really that's just Christ living in us as believers. Hope that's probably that's what, if anything makes us attractive in any way, it's probably that, not my inner self, because I'm probably, I'm not a great person in myself, but man, the fruit of the Spirit comes out, so you see love and you see joy and you see patience and kindness, and hopefully that's what pours out of our lives, and those are attractive things.
We want to be winsome.
Or should
for
be,
sure.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. You looking at me? What?
Yeah, I was just going to thank Mr. Robertson for his time.
Okay, guys, thank you. What a great show. We've had a great. I was trying to.
No, it has been great. We are obviously big fans of you. I've had the privilege to be around you.
I've seen bigger.
Wow. Okay.
Where did I read that recently about you? I read that exact story that something happened and you said, I've seen bigger.
Really?
Yeah. You've
don't
said
know.
that to somebody before.
I
just read about it a couple of
Did
days
you
ago.
really?
I did. I'll be able to find it.
I mean,
here
we're
on the
average.
interwebs.
Hey, you know what? We're average fans.
Yeah.
Of you. It truly has been an honor. I've had the opportunity the last few days. We're here at an event to be around you, around your guys, and you're just the real deal. And we love that you are out there, that you are being bold, that you're sharing your faith, that you've got these projects. We will be cheering them on, but we want to support them in any way we can, and we want our audiences to do the same thing. So
It's great, man. It's been fun being on here, and good to hang out with you guys. Y'all should definitely come to the musical, and then
we'll
when
make
the
that
movie
happen, for
comes
sure.
out, we'll have to do. I think we maybe do.
Well,
Where do y'all live?
So this kind of, we're in the
town
Franklin,
Yeah, we're
Spring
right here.
Hill, kind of
I
Williamson
think we're
County
doing
area.
something in
Yeah,
Nashville
yeah.
when that happens.
Oh, great.
so
Well,
it'll be
I
interesting.
didn't even know, will it be sort of like a model where you could rent out a theater, bring a bunch of people?
or is it just like
Could we,
wide
could
release,
we
or
do
you
that?
don't know yet?
You don't, executive producer.
Hey, Vulcan, is it just going to be wide release, or is it going to be?
He probably doesn't
Like,
know
could you
either.
sponsor
I
a
don't-
their and bring some friends together?
Probably. Yeah, of course you can.
I think we should do that,
Of course.
I think so.
That's the
I
kind of
love that
ideas
idea.
we need around here. But I think we will be around.
I've seen better,
I've seen bigger.
better, bigger.
Golly, this has
Yeah.
just got awkward.
Yeah. Most of those lines are directly from "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou,"
Oh,
which is
man.
one of my favorite movies.
Oh, one of my.
Did you like
he done
it?
RUNNOFT.
Did you like the movie?
I love that movie.
Because I went like numerous times, and I kept taking pictures, and some of my friends hated it. They were
my
like,
kids
I
hate it right
this.
now. I just showed it to my kids 6 months ago. They don't get it yet. They don't understand it yet.
Well, you just need to tell them to come on in. The water is fine.
I'm a Dapper Dan man. Oh, man.
I said that too before. I said, "Oh, blessed Mother above," to that guy. The guy walks up like he's slick. I said, "Boy, you a Dapper Dan man." Well, I used that line yesterday.
This place is a geographical oddity.
So, Dear Crap.
What a great movie. Full of
Awesome,
one-liners.
awesome.
Well, we do appreciate the time. Time is valuable. It's the only thing we can't make any more of, Joe. Time and land.
That's true.
Time and land.
Yep.
And so we
That's
appreciate
why
the
y'all
time.
can handsomely reward me with barrels of money. So thank you. I appreciate it.
What? About that.
How about food?
I'll take
How about
you right.
some of your finest smoked meats
Yes.
and cheeses?
Meats and cheeses seems like a good place to end. We want to let
Yeah.
Mr. Robertson get back to his life,
Yes.
but we do appreciate the
Awesome,
time.
man. Enjoyed it,
It's been a
guys.
lot of fun.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here.
Call me later.
All right, there you go. Our conversation with Willie Robertson. That was an absolute blast. Just thank you to Willie for giving us his time, his attention. He was so kind, so genuine, and we just appreciate that. You know, it's not everybody is genuinely nice, and he was. And I just left there going, okay, I'll just wait for Willie to ask someone for my phone number, and then we'll start texting, and we'll become best friends, and we'll end up playing golf together and all that good stuff. It's probably not going to happen, but if it did, that would be okay. So if you want to check out more about Willie, go to duckcommander.com. If you want to check more about The Blind Movie, go to theblindmovie.com. His story, themusical.com as well for more information about the musical. And finally, thank you to Joe, my buddy Joe, for kind of connecting all of this and orchestrating it all. If you want to check out Joe's podcast, head over to maythesmokebewithyou.com or just look it up wherever you listen to podcasts. Check that out. All right, thank you guys again, and love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.